श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। क्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं गुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषवे गुरोगणां निधिः सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। वेदव्यासं स्वात्मरूपं सत्यसन्धं परायणं शान्तं जितेन्द्रियक्रोधं सधिष्यं प्रणमाम्यहम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातमं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। नारायणपरो व्यक्तादण्डमव्यक्तसम्भवं मण्डस्यान्तस्तु मे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपाजमेदिनी। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणे स्वयं व्यासेन कृतितां पुराणमनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणी भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायीं भात्वामनुसन्दधां भगवद्गीते विभेद्वेषिणी। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अवतीर्णश्च कालट्यां केदारेन्द्रहितश्च च्युतस्फीठप्रतिष्ठाता यदाच्चङ्करो गुरुः। So previously we completed the Chaturtha Adhyaya, fourth chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, and in that chapter we looked at many well-known shlokas and their meanings as well, along with the summary of what Bhagavan said. We looked at that last time. So again, I said well-known, famous shlokas. Every shloka in Bhagavad Gita is important. There is no comparison to anything else. But as per what people hear every day when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, the shlokas like Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuddhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Seventh shloka. Paritranaya sadhuna virasha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Eighth shloka. And then 13th shloka. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasya tasya kartaram api mam vidyat kartaram avyayam. And Namaya 14th shloka similarly related to that. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale sprada iti mam yo vijanati karma bhirna sa badhyate. And then 24th shloka. Brahmarpadam brahmavir brahmagno brahmanavatam brahmetena gantavram brahmakarma samadhana. And then Shreyam dravyamaya yajna jnana yajnascha parastapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnanena parisamapyate. And then hi jnanena sadrisham pavitramaya vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha phalenatmani vindati. Then Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatpara samyatendriya jnanam labdha param shanti machirena adhigacchati. So like this shlokas we looked at, like, so there are parts of shloka that became famous, like Shraddhavan labate jnanam. So that's everybody says. And hi jnanena sadrisham sarvam kalvakilam partha jnanena parisamapyate, or Shreyam dravyamaya yajna jnana yajna parantapa. So and then similar Chaturvarnam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasha. Whenever there is a discussion of caste or things like that, people say Chaturvarnam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasha. That is the shloka that comes to, right? So explaining that. So similarly, at the shloka. So we looked at that adhyaya where how a jnani's karmas are detached and how he gives sannyasa, gives up on those karmas, jnani's karmas. So now we come to this fifth adhyaya, Chamadhyaya, where it is known by the name Karma-Sanyasa Yoga. Here, before we go there, let's just look at what is sannyasa. When we say sannyasa, what do we mean by sannyasa? That's something. Let's just quickly look at that. So we know there are 4 ashramas: brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. 4 ashramas. Sannyasa Upanishad, for example, says that brahmacharmyam samapya grihi bhavet, grihi bhutva vani bhavet, vani bhutva pravarjayet. Pravrajayet. So Vani Bhutva Pravrajayet. So Pravrajayet. So after completing brahmacharya, one should become grahastha, then one should enter vanaprastha, and then sannyasa. Like this it explains. So sannyasa Upanishad says. So now brahmacharya, we know that upanito vasedado vedabhyasaya vai guru aditya veda vedantam dattva cha guru dakshinam samavruttastu garhate garhaste sadaro nivasen mani. So what this shloka from Devi Bhagavata Purana, for example, says that after having upanito, so that means having that upavita, holy thread, after having that, a Brahmana should live in the house of the Guru to study the Vedas. Vasedado Vedabhyasaya Vaiguru. So he should stay, he should live in the house of the Guru for Vedabhyasa and the Vedantas. Vedanta Dattva. So Veda Vedanta, so he should study of the Vedas, and Dattvacha Guru Dakshinam. So he should pay the Guru Dakshina. After completing the study, he should pay the Guru Dakshina, the fees to the Guru according to the rules. He should pay that, and he will then return home. Samavruttastu. So he's again, before the marriage, these days brahmacharis don't go to Gurukula. So that's why we see this Samavartana. So before marriage, there is a small ceremony done called Samavartana. Samavartana is normally actually leaving Guru's home, Guru's ashrama, and returning home to get married. Okay. But these days, people go to college, there is no Samavartana. And that's why the Samavartana ceremony is the ritual is done just before the marriage. About 10 minutes they will finish it, or 15 minutes they will do it, some cases. So this become very simplified form. So but Samavarta, so after giving that Guru Dakshina according to the rules, he will then return home and marry a suitable girl and enter into Grahastha ashrama. He becomes a householder. So he enters that ashrama. So that is the brahmacharya conclusion. So brahmacharya means once one has this upavita, upanayana samskara complete, he goes to Guru ashrama, studies Veda, Vedanta, and after that gives Guru Dakshina, completing his Samavarta. He is completing that, he should return to home and gets married and enters the Grahastha ashrama. Now, Grahastha ashrama, न्याय वृत्तिस्तु संतोषी निराशी गतकश्मलः अग्निहोत्रादि कर्माणि कुर्वाणः सत्यवाक्युषि वाक्युषि पुत्रं पौत्रं समासाद्य वानप्रस्थाश्रमे वसेत्. So it says that he should lead the life of contentment in Grahastha ashrama, the householder, the married life. He should lead in the life of contentment. He should be free from the desires, and he should be sinless, truthful, satya vakshushi, and he should be so he should have the shuchi, satya vak, he should always tell the truth, and shuchi, he should have the purity of that words, and then earn his livelihood with pure heart according to the sanctions of justice and consciousness. So he should nyaya vrittistu santoshi. So he should be content, but he should nyaya vritti. He should lead his life according to the nyaya. So nyaya means according to his dharma, what is allowed. According to that, he should live his grahastha dharma, and he should perform Agnihotra and other sacrifices. Agnihotradi karmani kurvanaha. So he should perform that. Married person, householder, should perform those sacrifices. And after getting sons and grandsons, putram pautram samasadhya. He should, after getting sons and grandsons, he is to leave his wife under the care of his son and then take the life of a vanaprastha, which is he should enter the third stage. Again, vanaprastha, one should enter when there is a grandsons, grandchildren, his hair becomes grey. At that point, one should start make his journey, leave this ashrama, grahastha ashrama, and enter vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is living in the forest. So he lives, gives up his home to his house, his sons, and then he leaves and goes for the forest. So that is grahastha ashrama. Conclude again. Here it says that he should leave his wife under the care of his son, but there are also slight variations. So if wife is willing to come with him to the forest, he should take her. On the other hand, if she is still attached to her sons and grandsons, which normally the case because mothers are always attached to their sons and grandsons and things like that, if they are attached to them, then he should leave them in the care of his sons and grandsons. So he should leave her in the care of them, and he should walk alone. But if she is also detached, if she is reached that stage, then he should take her to the vanaprastha along with him. And then when he enters the vanaprastha, tapasa shadri punjitva bharyam putre niveshya cha sarvan agnin anyatha nyayamatmanyarobhya dharmavit vaset turyashramesha shranta shuddhe vairagya sambhave. That brahmana, that knower of the one who is knowing the dharmas and duties, he must practice tapasya and become the master of 6 passions, his enemies. He should have control over them through tapasya. And by doing that many years, when he gets disgusted with the world, when the vairagya, dispassion, will arise within him, he should enter the 4th ashrama, which is the sannyasa. So, first step is giving up his home as grahastha and children and going to forest and living there doing the tapasya. But he is still attached to this world. He may still think about this world, everything around him. He should care for others and things like that. But gradually, after performing this tapasya for many years, finally, he should, when that vairagya dispassion comes, that time he should enter this 4th ashrama known as sannyasa. He should renounce everything, even that home or the ashrama he has in the forest, he should give up on that. So while he is in the forest, he should eat he can cook food, okay, in the forest. He should have he can have his own hut or ashrama built there, okay, but it does not have the luxury of the grahastha ashrama. But he can still cook the food, he can search for the food and do those things for his maintenance. But ultimately, when final stages of his life comes and or his vairagya dispassion who completely overtakes, he does not even think about anything about his body, at that time he should enter sannyasa. And sannyasa, viraktasyadhikaro asti sannyase nanyata kvachid. So here he should enter, because the man is first to enter the grahastha ashrama when he will be quite dispassionate towards the world. He will then have to enter and he have to right to take the ashrama of sannyasa, renunciation. The opposite of this, that is entering the sannyasa first and then thinking about, I should have married and then going to get married and things like that, opposite of that, never allowed. The contrary to that, the standard process, defined process, can never entitle one to the ashrama of sannyasa. So one should not have that. So again, one should enter only after that. So in the Vedas, there are 48 samskaras, and some say 64, but 48 main samskaras are mentioned, and they are again consecration or purification rites, out of which uh, the learned Mahatmas have reserved that 40 samskaras for the householders, last 8 samskaras uh, for the sannyasis. And this good usage is heard to come down from always ancient times. And the Brahmana ought to complete his previous ashrama successively and then enter into succeeding ashrama. So he should complete brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and then enter sannyasa. He should not skip. That's the normal rule. Okay. So now, one thing to remember again here is when we say uh, 4 ashramas, this we looked at in the previous adhyayas, in the third adhyaya, when we looked at this, where I think in the 20th shloka, karmanaiva samsiddhamastita janakadaya lokasangrami vapi sampashyan kartumarrasi. So in that shloka, third adhyaya, 20th shloka, where we were looking at why Krishna said Janaka and others, even though they were samsiddhi, they are already attained that atmajnana, they still continue to perform their karma. They did not take sannyasa because Arjuna was crying. He was saying that I will become a sannyasi, I will go and do penance. I will enter the forest and do penance, right? So Arjuna was saying like that, I'll go back to forest, I will become a sannyasa, I don't want to kill anybody like this. At that time, Krishna explaining says that Janaka and others, even though they have attained Atmajnana, they did not take sannyasa, right? And there we looked at Yajnavalkya Smriti saying that Chatvara Ashrama Brahmanasya Triyo Rajanyasya Dvau Vaishyasya. So like this we looked at, right? What Dharma-Śāstra says. Yajnavalkya Smriti says, Samhita says that there are 4 ashramas prescribed by the Vedas for Brahmanas. So that is Brahmacharya to Sannyasa, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. 4 ashramas are prescribed for the Brahmanas. And Kshatriya, there are 3. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha. He cannot take Sannyasa ashrama. So we looked at also that Vaishya can take only 2. And Shudra, 1, can take 1. So like this, so we looked at, right? So which means that Brahmana is eligible for all the 4 ashramas. Kshatriya can take Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha. Vaishya can enter Grahastha and Vanaprastha. So, and for Shudra, there is only Grahastha ashrama. There is, even Grahastha ashrama is not kind of a Grahastha ashrama what we see for Vaishya and Dharma duties assigned to them, because Shudra's duty is assigned to service of the other 3. So the ashrama's point of view, it is sannyasa point of view. Again, we said that, I said previously as well here in the earlier, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, when we were looking at, I said Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmana. The reason took Brahmana because we were going to look at who can enter sannyasa, how to enter sannyasa, and sannyasa can only be entered by Brahmanas, not Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudras. So that's why it is important when we look at the word sannyasa, when we look into the meaning of this word sannyasa, it is important to remember that those from Brahmana Varnas who are the sannyasis and not the others. So we see many sannyasis today who are not or as per Shastras. So before we think, okay, he is a sannyasi, just remember whether he has gone from Brahmana, which ashrama he belongs. Now, among the methods of entering the sannyasa, I said there are the way is through this ashrama. So Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and then sannyasa. So there are 4 different methods of entering the sannyasa. Sannyasa is effectively renunciation. Once the dispassion comes about this world and thinks about only Brahmajnana, when we starts thinking about that, then only the sannyasa and ashrama is relevant. So there are 4 types of sannyasa: krama sannyasa, akrama sannyasa, vividisha sannyasa, and viddhat sannyasa. So 4 types of mention. So krama sannyasa is from 8th year after the Upanayana Samskara, going to Guru Ashrama, serving the Guru, learning from him, where he lives as a brahmachari, he completes his brahmacharya vrata, as Taitiri Upanishad says, Acharyaya priyam dhanamahritya prajatantum va vivacheti. So after giving Guru Dakshina, he should enter the Grahastha ashrama. So that is, and then again, Bhagavata Purana says that if brahmachari who has completed the study and investigation of the Shastras according to his needs in the life, wishes to enter the next stage of life, that is the householder, he should pay his educational fees, Guru Dakshina, to his Guru, and with the permission of his Guru, he should take the bath for terminating his brahmacharya ashrama, which is known as Samavartana Samskara, which is what I said earlier. He should take that bath, and then he should then take a wife of good qualities and lead the Grahastha ashrama. Every day he should perform snana, sandhya, and muttering of the recitation of Vedic mantras, homa, swadhyaya, that is recitation of the Vedas or study of the Vedas and Shastras, and worship of Vishnu, tarpana for his Pitrus, Vaishvadeva, offering to all the deities by offering the oblation in the Agni before taking his meals, or for all the jivas offering the food, and reception of atithis, guests, and so on. All these things he should perform, the grahastha. And with wealth earned by a righteous means one should perform all the meritorious actions according to one's capacity. He should be unattached. That grahastha ashrama, he should be unattached, and he should feed his dependents, whether wife or children, he should feed them, and he should not harass them. Like this, there are many duties prescribed for the grahasthas. So like this, one should live. And after staying in the house in this second ashrama, this grahastha ashrama, like that, a brahmana should proceed on to the third stage, when he becomes gray-haired, wrinkled, and after his seeing his progeny, his children of his children, he should, so gray-haired, wrinkled, and seeing the grandkids, he should, after giving up all the food stuff prepared by his village, in the village, whatever the food that's prepared in the village, he should give up on all that. That brahmana should enter the forest with his wife, if she is agreeable to serving one's Atma. If she is thinking about the Paramatma in that Atma Chintana, if she is there, then he should take, if she is ready to give up his enjoyment and perform penance, then he should take her. Otherwise, entrusting her to the care of sons and for their maintenance, he should leave her in the village itself. And then he should spend his third quarter of his life in the forest, in the vanas. He should wear bark garments or leather, deer hide, and things like that. And he should maintain the sacrificial fire, so Agni, he should maintain and sustain himself with the food stuff, which is like the rishis. He should live like that from the roots and fruits and things like that. He should survive whatever he gets in the forest. He should not do agriculture there in the forest. Go to forest and then start growing fruit trees or vegetable trees and things like that. He should not do that. He should get whatever he can get in that forest. And he should take bath in the morning and evening, and also in the midday. And he should not discontinue the 5 yajnas, pancha yajnas. Even if he has to make use of greens, roots, and fruits, whatever he can get in the forest, he should perform those pancha yajnas. He should worship the munis and rishis and the atithis that come on his way, and give them the bhikshas consisting of water and the roots and the fruits and whatever he can. He should not accept anything from anyone. and he should give others whatever he can. He should control his mind and he should be engaged in the study of the Vedas. He should duly perform Agnihotra in Vaitagniya Agni, because Avaniya and Dakshinagni he should give up when he leaves the Grahapatya. He should perform Agnihotra in the Vaitaniya Agni, that is Avaniya and Dakshinagni he should perform, but he should give up on the Grahapatya Agni. So Grahapatya Agni he should give up, that is the Agni that's used in the kitchen, in the cooking. He should give up on that Agni. So he should continue his life like that. And after spending third stage of his life in like this in the forest, one should give up all the contact in the fourth stage, in the sannyasa ashrama. One should give up everything, and he should lead the life of a wandering recluse. He should sannyasa. He should not have a. He should wander alone forever without any adobe or agni to maintain him, for the purpose of siddhi, for achievement of the aim, which is brahmajnana. He should remain aidless. He should resort to village only for food. So again, now he can re-enter the village, but he is not staying in the village. Okay, he does not have a home. He should not live in a home. He should not stay in one place. He should keep wandering. Okay, he should resort to go to the village only for food and for bhiksha, to maintain his body. And that ascetic he should crave neither for life nor for death. He should not wish to live long. He should not expect to die immediately. He should live just as long as his body survives. He should live, and till that time he should maintain that body just for attaining the siddhi. In this body he should try to remember Paramatma as many times as possible and attain that jnana. And desiring moksha, he should be devoid of mamata, that is the sense of mindness or possession and things like that. He should be devoid of that everywhere, and he should have equanimity everywhere, and he should stay even at the root of a tree. He should stay like that, and such one is praised as a sannyasi, and that sannyasi has only 4 activities, that is meditation, maintaining internal and external purity, and begging bhiksha for alms, and then he should remain isolated. Those are the 4 things, and there is no 5th thing that sannyasi need to do. And like this, one going from one ashrama to another ashrama and reaching the sannyasa ashrama, so from brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha to sannyasa ashrama, like this, going from one to another as the life progresses, that is known as Karma-Sanyasa, procedural sannyasa. So as per the steps, 4 stages, he finally reaches that stage. That's why it is known as Karma-Sanyasa. So we looked at 4 sannyasas: Krama, Akrama. The next one is Akrama-Sanyasa. Akrama-Sanyasa is one where one enters sannyasa ashrama by jumping one or more ashramas in between. Again, we are talking about the Brahmanas here. Okay, so Brahmanas are the only one entering sannyasa ashrama. That's why we are talking about Brahmanas. So those who enter the sannyasa ashrama by jumping one or more ashramas in between, for example, one goes from brahmacharya, he goes directly to sannyasa ashrama. Or from grahastha, he goes directly to sannyasa ashrama without going to vanaprastha. So brahmacharya to sannyasa means he skips grahastha and vanaprastha ashrama. And grahastha to sannyasa means he skips vanaprastha ashrama. Like this, when one is overwhelmed with vairagya, dispassion, and he has already purified his heart, such a person can enter that sannyasa like this, and that type of sannyasa is known as Akrama-Sanyasa. Srimad Bhagavata, for example, says that he should enter the house, that is the householder stage, the grahastha ashrama stage of life, if he is inclined of all the desires that comes with the grahastha ashrama, or the vanaprastha ashrama he should enter if he is purified in mind. If that brahmana is already pure in heart, he should renounce the world and become a sannyasi. And this type of sannyasa is known as Akrama-Sanyasa. One thing again to remember here is Krama or Akrama-Sanyasa is there is no step backwards. So Krama-Sanyasa, you go from Grahastha to Vanaprastha, you live in forest for 3 months and suddenly it becomes very rainy season and cold season, whatever it is. Suddenly you think of, oh, I had a heating at home, I should go there. You can't think and run away from Vanaprastha back to Grahastha Ashrama. Okay. Similarly, sannyasa going there, I used to cook my own food. Now I am not getting bhiksha. I can't let me start cooking. No, that's not allowed when we enter sannyasa. You can't go back to grahastha or vanaprastha ashrama. So it cannot go back. Again, Dharma Shastras and Puranas make it very clear one can never go in the reverse order. Again, we see such things these days, sannyasi getting married. Okay, so this is because those sannyasis are more or less, they're not purified at heart when they enter the sannyasa ashrama. And that's why they are coming back to the where they were. So which is again against the Shastras. Okay, so now the other two type of sannyasas are krama and akrama will go. Krama is going from one stage to another stage. Akrama is one stage, jumping one or more stages and reaching the sannyasa. Okay, akrama. Then there is another one known as vidvat and vividisha. Other two types of sannyasa, vidvat sannyasa and vividisha sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa is similar to akrama sannyasa, but here one has pure heart and vairagya from the beginning. Okay, even when in brahmacharya or grahastha ashrama, he has a strong vairagya and becomes jivan mukta itself. At that stage itself, they have attained that brahmajnana. They have become jivan mukta. Then at some point, he just says this worldly view. Even though he's living in brahmacharya, grahastha, he's already given up everything. Okay, he's already jivan mukta. He's living like a sannyasi. But because everybody says he's lying, the world recognizes, he takes sannyasa formally at some point. That is just to see this world, okay, what the world expects. So from the worldly view, he takes sannyasa, but he's already jivan mukta. So that is known as vidvat, when one has already attained that brahmajnana. Okay. The second one is vividisha sannyasa, where again with the sannyasas one has vairagya, that is dispassion, and one has purification of the heart, mind. Okay, one has purification of the mind. So both have been attained. So that means he has attained atma jnana. Okay, he has vairagya, dispassion. So I don't want any of this. Okay, that dispassion is there, and I am nothing. I am none of this. But he has not he has attained that jnana as well. With the sannyasa means he has attained that jnana as well. He thinks himself as Brahman. Okay, everything he sees as Brahman. So that's, he has seen that he has jivan mukta. He has become that, attained that moksha even while living. Such a person is known as Vidya sannyasa. And then we see many examples from our history, like so Pradasmarani Sri Chandrasekhar Bharat Swamiji is an example, right? So where he lived such a life. And then there are others, I mean, there are other sannyasis who from brahmacharya, they attain vairagya, but their heart is not yet purified, their mind is not yet purified. They have attained that vairagya, they have that dispassion. They have yet to attain that atma jnana. And to attain that atma jnana, they take sannyasa. Okay, they may not have purity of heart, mind, or atma jnana at the time of taking the sannyasa, but they take sannyasa to reach that stage. This is known as vividisha sannyasa, where one takes sannyasa, where one is dispassionate about everything, but has not attained that atma jnana. Vidvat means one has attained that atma jnana and also is already dispassionate. Okay, so vividisha means one has that dispassion but has not attained realization has not happened, and that's vividisha sannyasa. So again, the most of the sannyasis we see today. Okay, again it's very difficult to say whether one has attained that atma jnana, one has not attained. before taking sannyasa, it is very difficult to say. Only that person who has experienced can say that whether he has attained Atmajnana or not. But also in the second chapter, we looked at where Sthita Prajna Lakshana Bhagavan, when explains, he explained various characteristics, qualities of that such a person, Jivan Mukta's qualities, right? So we can, based on that, we can say whether they have attained Atmajnana or not. But we do see these days many people say that I have attained Atmajnana and they are sannyasis, but completely doing opposite things. There is two extremes as well. So it is either way. So, but generally, the sannyasa svikara we see these days in many places where a young brahmachari takes sannyasa or a grahastha takes sannyasa and things like that. We see that's mainly in the Vividisha sannyasa where one has this vairagya and they want to attain this atmajnana. That's the type of sannyasas we see these days. With the sannyasas maybe there, it is again very difficult to confirm whether one has attained atmajnana or not. So why we said this, why we looked at this sannyasa, different types of sannyasa, krama, vidvat or vividisha, or the ashramas, all these things, is the link to the word sannyasa here in this Karma-Sanyasa yoga, in this adhyaya we were looking at. So Karma-Sanyasa yoga, what is sannyasa? So that's why we looked at this, the type of sannyasa in this adhyaya. In this chapter, this chapter of Bhagavad Gita talks about Vividisha Sannyasa, where one has that dispassion and one is aspiring to attain that Atmajnana. And such type of sannyasa is mentioned in this chapter. So that's why I just wanted to give explanation of what type of sannyasa is mentioned in this Karma-Sanyasa yoga in this chapter. So here it is mentioned is Vividisha sannyasa, where one is dispassionate and wishing to or aiming to attain that Atmajnana, and that's why they take sannyasa. That's what is aspiring. So not Jivan Muktas. So that's what this Karma-Sanyasa yoga is mentioned. And this chapter explains how Karma-Nishta, adherence to karma, and Jnana-Nishta and Jnana, adherence to Jnana are complementary. They are complementing each other, and how karma should be performed, and how explanation of Jnana is also related in this adhyaya, and this adhyaya also explains dhyana with bhakti, devotion as well, meditation with devotion as well. It explains this chapter. So with that, we will start looking at Acharya Bhagavad with that background to this adhyaya. We will look at Acharya Bhagavad Shankaracharya's explanation. Introduction to this adhyaya. He starts saying that in the instructions, in the statements Bhagavan made, we looked at in the previous chapter. So in the fourth chapter, where we looked at, for example, where Bhagavan said that karmanya karmaya pashyet karmanicha karmaya, and also in shloka, for example, sa buddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krita jnanagni dharma dagna karmanam tamahum panditam buddha, 19th shloka. Shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham, 21st shloka. Yadricha lava santushta dvandvatito vimatsara samasiddha avasiddho cha krutvapi na nipadyate, 22nd shloka. Brahmapadam brahmahavir, and so on. 24th shloka. Karma jnanam vidhi tan sarvan nevam jnata vimokshase, 32nd shloka. Sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parisamapyate. O partha, all the actions in their totality culminate in jnana. So 33rd shloka. And then jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. The agni of jnana burns, reduces all the actions to ashes. 37th shloka. And then the 41st shloka, yoga sannyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna sanchayam atmamantana karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. Actions do not bind one who has renounced the actions through yoga. So like this, where Bhagavan says that the one who finds karma and akarma, action and inaction, the one who is engaged in yoga is the performer of all the actions. Those whose actions have been burnt away by the jnanagni, and he says the performing the actions, karmas, merely for the maintenance of the body, and then remaining satisfied with whatever one gets unasked for, and things like that. And then he says Brahma, Brahma Have, everything is Brahman, and different types of sacrifices. All these things Bhagavan says. Bhagavan in all this, he says that Sarva Karma-Sanyasam, he said he here spoke about the Sarva Karma-Sanyasa. He spoke about the renunciation of all the actions. In this previous chapter, in all this, across all these shlokas we saw, right? He talks about renunciation of all the actions. And the word where he says that Tasma Jnana Sambhutam Vritstam Jnana Se Natmanah Chitvainam Samshayam Yogamatishtottishta Bharata. 42nd shloka where he says that take recourse to yoga by cutting asunder with the sword of knowledge this doubt. So he says that Bhagavan there he says that Yogam cha karmanushtana lakshanam anuttishta. So he says that you undertake the yoga consisting of performance in actions. He says that. So one hand, he said renunciation of all the karmas, and then in the 42nd shloka, while concluding that 4th chapter, he said, you undertake actions, you perform the actions, you perform the karmas. That's what he said. Now the question arises, which one is better? Whether performance of actions and renunciation of actions. Which one is better? One should perform the karmas or give up on those karmas. What is one should do? That question arises. And for that, on that basis, Acharya here explains in detail as part of the introduction of this chapter. We will look at that next time.